Hello. Welcome to the Game Audio Hour, episode 151. It's a weekly podcast where we discuss all things game audio, from creative ideas to the latest techniques, project experiences, to audio secrets. Here's where you'll find in-depth coverage and opinions related to game audio. And today we got Chase. Hey, what's up? How are you doing? It looks like your digs are a little different from last week.
Yep, I'm moving around a little bit. I'm not in the sweltering room. I am in Ventura County.
Yeah,
Different
it
room
looks
than I was
nice.
before. Yeah, it's a very
It
nice
looks
room.
clean. You got
Sadly,
some
not my
greenery
room.
there in the corner too.
Yeah, some plants. Whoever's room this is, they got a little shop of horrors going on. It's very nice. I'm gonna see more of me tonight.
Oh man.
How you doing?
Whew. I'm not bad. I'm a little bit tired. It's been actually been a little bit crazy lately. But I guess now I can talk a little bit about why I've been so tired lately. That
Ooh.
game company finally announced their next project, this game called Sky that I've been working on for the last few years. So,
Yes,
yeah,
congratulations. That's
thank you.
amazing.
Yeah, it's been pretty nice.
Sounds amazing.
Well, thanks. Well, the teaser, you know what the teaser sounds like at least. The game is,
Yes.
I guess you got a little bit of a taste of it from the Apple demo from last week. But there's still a whole lot of work that needs to get done in order to see this game through to when it gets released. And even though we finally announced it, I'm going to go back to being a little bit quiet about it as well. There's only so much that I want or have to talk about when it comes to music and sound. And actually, it'll be really cool if we wait until the game is finally in people's hands and we can talk about all those cool features at that point.
Absolutely. I can totally concur on that level. I just did a talk at my college, Moorpark College, this past Friday at the game design program and class that was going there. And it was kind of difficult to speak about the game that I was working on because right now it's being shopped to publishers, but I can kind of talk about it, but I can't talk too much about it. So it's like I just end up just showing what I did in terms of like how this is music and this is the creation and this is why it doesn't take just one note on the keyboard to make this, and it takes hours and a lot of thought and creativity, and then show them the game, but I can't let them play it, and it's just weird. I don't know. I don't even have an. I'm not even. I don't. I didn't sign an NDA, so I don't even know.
Oh man,
It's just
yeah, it is tough. It's so funny when you're working in video games and in tech. You always have to deal with things like NDAs, but a lot of people like to point to the fact that one of the reasons that and Silicon Valley in particular became this great center for technological progress and prowess is not the fact that we had these NDAs, but the fact that people kept on breaking the NDAs. You know, you go leave your job at, I don't know, Xerox Park, and you hang out with guys at the bar, hanging out with people who are from Atari, who are from DEC, who are from wherever, and all this information just found a little bit, some funny ways. Maybe it's just an idea here and there, but it was the fact that there was some sharing actually happening that made Silicon Valley what it is today. At least that's what some people actually argue.
interesting.
And
That's.
sharing
I mean, there's
is really
lots of
important.
digging behind that. What were you going to say?
Yeah. Yeah, sharing is fun. Sharing is tough though. Especially when you do have to deal with things like NDAs, or you were talking about shopping around to publishers. Therefore, we need to have some strong control over what it is that the publishers are going to know about. And
True.
yeah, it can be a tough thing to deal with. But sharing is fun too. it's so satisfying when you're actually able to share what it is you know with other people. Like that's cool that you're hanging out at your college and disseminating all that knowledge that you've got with them.
I was just asked randomly on Twitter by one of the. It's funny because I borrowed a book when I was at community college. I never took the professor's class, Tim Samoff. I never took his class. I was actually part of the game development club there when it was first started. And I just borrowed the audio programming book. And I read like a chapter and I was like, this is really intense. And I've had this book for almost a semester. I should probably give it back to him. That was when I was there. And then so years later, we follow each other on Twitter and he's like, hey, you want to come in and talk? And I was like, absolutely. It's been a goal of mine to actually get there and speak. And so I actually stepped ahead, I think, in my mind of the goal a year or two. And I got it done this. So I plan on doing more talks and also just educating the game development community as a whole with things that are on my mind and that I feel young game developers and all game developers, if they will, would like to learn about.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, the audio programming book, you mean the audio programming book, the big textbook with sort of the
And the
black
black
cover?
Yeah.
That is a great book. It's actually really good.
It is. It was just beyond me for someone getting into barely knowing how to make loops at the time. Like it was way beyond me. I was starting out. That was about 6-7 years ago.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you're going to be an audio designer, there's a little bit that you need to know from that book. Certainly not a lot. You know, if you want to get into serious audio programming and you're like, hey, Fmod wise, I could do better than that. You know, then this is the book to start off with. You know, okay, you're going to do your own mixing routines and all that stuff. Fun times. But it's still a really cool book to have. And I think it's just, I don't know, there's so much fun stuff in there in terms of conceptualizing how things are actually really happening. And I think that actually helps when it comes to how is that you're going to design your stuff at a high level in order to make things easier when it finally gets into the low-level hands.
Yeah, it's true. It's got a lot to unpack. Like you said, it's about this thick, but I own a myriad of game audiobooks, and that one is not in my collection, and it should be, because I think I've done some audio scripting within OpenAL before, and I think it's probably similar to what I was doing there and just didn't know. But again, like further down the line, as you get projects, you learn along the way sometimes. And
yeah, it's kind of funny. In some cases, I actually think the dude's other book, he has a book called the C Sound book, which I really like. I think if you're looking for something that is both an audio book as well as a primer to programming, I think the C Sound book actually works pretty well for that compared to the audio programming book, which actually assumes that you know a lot more. So I don't know if you've checked out that book, but one of the editors of the audio programming book previously did the C Sound book.
I'm not familiar with that book. I only know the audio programming book by Richard Boulanger.
Yeah. Is it Boulanger or Boulanger or something? But yeah, here it is. Yeah, the C Sound book. Yeah, this is by Richard Boulanger. It is $75 on Amazon. It's actually pretty cool. And it gets you into C Sound, which is I mean, it's useful. It's cool to have this very audio focused, but also a nice strong primer into sound programming and programming in general, honestly. I mean, the audio programming also, if you work your way through it, I think it could be a good start. But C Sound, I like C Sound a lot.
And for those who are out there who don't know what C Sound is,
yeah, I mean, basically, it's a programming language. But it's very sound focused. It's kind of like if you want something that's a little bit lower level than pure data. You know, you don't want something that is visual data flow programming. You're like, okay, I want to learn something that is, it's got C syntax. All right, cool. But it's still very much an audio place. You're working with audio throughout everything that's going on in the book, throughout everything that you have in that development environment.
Got you.
Yeah.
So we got the book tips for the day. We laid them out.
Yeah. It's, it's kind of fun. I mean, I started messing around with C Sound back in I guess it was like the mid 2000s. And I did that around the same time I was messing around with Pure Data. And it took me a while. A lot of times when it comes to that knowledge, it's like, okay, I use it for a few years, and then I don't even think about it as I'm working in a totally different space for a few more years. Where, okay,
That's
two
so
years
true.
of straight music composition, or another 2 years where I'm not doing anything music composition wise. I'm just doing some scripting. All right, just scripting. Oh, all you're doing is Unreal stuff. That's it. And then you go back and you're like, well, wait a minute, didn't I do this stuff? And it takes a while for you to jog your memory. Oh yeah, that's right, I did do that stuff. And it never really
Absolutely.
comes out until you have like a conversation with someone, or someone is asking you questions about, oh yeah, how did you do this? And then you start churning some gears, trying to get some other gears in motion, and then you access a part of your brain that you forgot about. And actually, I've been doing that a lot recently, mostly because of this thing called the Audio Mentoring Project. Have you heard of that?
I have not.
Yeah. I actually first heard about the Audio Mentoring Project almost a year ago. If you go to this website, audiomentoring.com, they have it right up front. They say that their mission is to connect game audio devs to form long-lasting, mutually beneficial relationships. Find mentors, find mentees, and basically connect them together. So sometime last year, I basically said, hey, this seems kind of cool. And I basically threw my name at that website. And I hadn't heard from them in many, many months. So I totally forgot about this thing until I was looking through my spam folder a few months ago. And it was like, oh, wait a minute. They actually said I could be a mentor, and they have someone who they think would be really good to be my mentee. Oh, darn, why is this in my spam folder? Started up the emails again. And then boom. Now I'm doing this thing where I just have this weekly call with this person that is up and coming in the game audio world and is really interested in what's going on in some different places, just to sort of bolster their current knowledge base that they're growing right now in their current workspace.
How did did you have your first mentorship lesson session? How did that go?
Yeah, we've actually been doing it for a few weeks now, and it's been pretty cool. I think the big thing that I was really impressed by was that the guys at the Audio Mentoring Project, I'm not sure exactly how they choose to pair a certain mentor with a certain mentee. They gave me, prior to that first call, oh, here's the bio, here's a basic background, check out their website, here's the stuff that they've done. And I looked at it and I thought, okay, this seems like an okay guy. I'm not sure if he's really a perfect fit for me. And then actually after that first call, we started talking about stuff and we realized, holy crap, this is actually a really, really, really good fit. There must have been some things that they just totally neglected to put in that bio, but I went into it and oh wait, the relationship that I had with my college professors, almost exactly the relationship that he had with his college professors, my reaction to that and what I did, his reaction to that, and just wow, there were a whole lot of interesting parallels. So as far as I know, those guys seem to be doing a really great job pairing mentors with mentees. And even if it was merely an okay job, I still really like this whole idea of the Audio Mentoring Project. So
yeah, it sounds really cool. Just checking it out, the website and everything. Seems like a couple people in the chat have signed up for it too. Sean Bell, and see, that's all I can see there. But
yeah, so that's cool.
And Brian,
I'm trying to let some other people that I know check out the audio mentoring project. I mean, I know some other guys, some music guys that are interested in it, some sound design guys that are interested in it. Um, I'm not sure exactly what it's like, what those pools are, in terms of how many mentors and how many mentees.
True.
But man, and I guess it's only been less than a year for this thing, but I hope it just keeps on going strong.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, it's very clean and clear. They have all the questions up front, like the frequently asked questions, the FAQs.
Yeah.
So I really dig it. More people should sign up if they want to learn more, which you can only find out here so far on the Game Audio Hour.
Yeah. So yeah, there's the audio mentoring project. Man.
And yours truly
But
is one of the mentors. You
yeah.
are, not me.
Hey, but that's the thing. You should sign up too.
I don't feel qualified. I'm not sure yet. I mean, I could do either or. I'm not sure which one. I'd probably would be a mentee.
But I mean, I don't know. I mean, why not? I mean, that's the thing. You have some experience under your belt, and that's some experience is going to be really useful to someone else.
That's true.
I still think of myself as pretty noobish in the game industry. I mean,
Okay,
you're
okay,
making that face, but I mean, let me just talk about. There's a reason why I feel this way, and I think it is a very valid reason.
Okay.
Yes, I have been in the game industry for about a decade.
Yeah,
Right?
10 years. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean that is a pretty substantial amount of time. I've done. If you want to count major game releases, I can count them on one hand. And yes, I have done a bunch of all these, little small games, and I guess I'm not counting things like, oh yeah, I did these Facebook games, and I did all these mobile phone games prior to the release of the iPhone, which basically means they don't exist anymore.
Hey, those games are cool. I played some flip phone games there. No, don't cut yourself short there. I like those games. Okay, Game Loft was good.
No, it's true. I mean, they're valid games, but the thing is, my own experience is it's very colored, and it's actually pretty restricted compared to a lot of other people. Freelancers like Kyle and Mike, those guys actually go around between lots and lots of different projects, and in doing so, they get
True.
a pretty interesting breadth of knowledge. I've been here
Yep.
at that game company and Lab Zero for the last 7 years, which is okay. That's 3 games. Cool. And I've got a lot of knowledge, but it's all pretty deep and narrow, which is useful, but to whom and for how many? So it's, everyone has got their particular font of knowledge, and it's useful to someone. And I actually find a lot of value from people who are, freelancing like you, and moving around between different projects, being like, okay, I did this and I did this. Okay. And then a few months later, I could probably talk to you and you'll be like, oh yeah, I'm doing this thing right now, which is, instead of XYZ, it's ABC. And that's actually really cool.
I get where you're coming from. Yeah, it makes sense to me. That makes sense.
Yeah.
That's a good point. I guess I never see it that way because I'm always, like you said, like you're in this company for this X amount of time and you're not really doing so many freelance projects, if any at all. Whereas with me, I am just bouncing from here to there and then learning things on the go and on the fly. And then one week I'm doing a VR game, and then the next week I'm back to doing mobile games, and then the next week I'm back to doing retro games or whatever. Like I'm always like circulating about. So when in my mind I'm thinking like, oh, I guess I'm thinking that it's catching up to the knowledge, but I don't realize that I'm actually learning as I go, and I haven't viewed it that way. So it's a good perspective.
Yeah. They're all good places to be. You know, I'm at a particular place in the games industry. You're at a particular place in the games industry, and hey, we're all having fun. We're all contributing. We're all doing what we can
Yes.
to make games better and to make ourselves better.
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely. We got
cool. You
special
know,
tools to make those things better.
oh yeah, absolutely. I got to admit, uh, we actually mentioned these guys last week. We mentioned Embertone and one of their
Mhm.
new instrument releases. It turns out it just happened today. Joshua Bell Violin has just dropped and it is available to download. It is huge. It is ginormous.
Wow.
You load it into how big is this thing?
15?
I can look at this right now. I'm going to go into my libraries directory,
Putting my money
contact.
on 15 gigs. Chat, let me know how big you think
It
it is.
is not 15 gigs,
Okay. So
but it's still
that's good.
pretty big.
All right.
It is 8.24 gigs.
Ah, dang. 7
It
tunes.
is huge. That it is definitely the largest solo instrument I've ever gotten. It is ginormous. And but I like those guys. I like Embertone. I like their instruments. They're always really high quality. They're always very controllable. And I figure, okay, I'm going to go ahead and shell out the money right now, even though they don't actually have a download that you can try out for yourself. They have a lot of YouTube demos where they show off the violin being played.
Yes.
Excuse me.
Which I listened to, and I thought it was fairly. I thought it was very good. I just didn't. You know how I feel about the sample libraries right now, so I was like,
Yeah.
it sounds like a lot of work.
It is a lot of work. Actually,
yes.
let's see.
Ta-da!
I'm gonna see how this sounds right now.
Vince show. No,
No. It's not the Vince show. Let's see what we got. All right. It's pretty good, this thing. I'm still struggling with it. I think one of the things that's really frustrating about this instrument, and actually with a lot of instruments when it comes to iwi playback, is that there is so much time for the note to develop after you hit the key. I'm going to go
the
back.
latency.
Yeah, there's that. I mean, you want it to sound natural, and they do that by having these really long transitional samples that exist between all these intervals. A lot of instruments, they'll do these things where, oh yeah, we sampled all these transition intervals up to an octave. This is more than an octave. Let's see, I'm gonna go back to my keyboard.
I'm gonna see if I can hear it.
So that's a major 10th there. It's I mean, you can tell if you try to do something like a trill or something. It doesn't want you to play that fast. It's just not designed to be quite that responsive when it comes to hitting the note on the keyboard. You got to give it some time for the note to actually develop and propagate. If you're going to do a trill or some other sort of fast articulation, you have to select that articulation
Right.
from the keyboard, which I'm honestly not a big fan of doing because
Yes.
the iwi does not have a place where you can key switch.
Maybe the new iwi will.
Oh, man.
But I do understand where you're coming from in terms of wanting to just be able to have that articulation at your disposal as if you were playing the actual instrument.
Yeah,
I guess that's where expression maps come into play for us Cubase users, but innuendo. And it becomes a little bit easier. But I actually was noticing that there's something robotic about you playing on the iwi versus playing on the keyboard. So I would like to do a little close my eyes and test my ears thing really quick, if you don't mind, if you'll indulge, just to see if I'm thinking that or if I'm really hearing the difference.
a little robotic. I mean, part of it is, I've got to learn it. It's a very different type of, there's learning the instrument, then there's learning the soft synth.
True, yeah.
All these sample libraries have their own virtuosity that's associated with it.
Absolutely.
Whew. I think I'm just losing breath. Oh man, it actually has all these things where I can change the tone. Apparently that was the natural tone. What is bold tone? Dark, clear? Nice.
You know what's weird? You mentioned that the way that the programming works, the note takes a while to develop, and I kind of don't hear that when you play on the MIDI keyboard, but I do hear. It feels like because you have to breathe, and the iwi has to use that breath controller and that relation, that it almost matches. It's almost like they programmed it to match that type of.
The thing is, I'm pretty sure they haven't. Like I've talked to the developers, like Alex. He's actually really nice on email, and I tried to tell him when I'm using an iwi, this is kind of what I have access to. I would love to use these continuous controllers. I would like to be able to do things like map pitch bend to things instead of using a key switch, because I've got pitch bend readily at my disposal, but not a key switch. And he'll be like, oh, okay, we can try to do that, but it's not their primary thing. Like, honestly, the only thing that I did in order to prep the Joshua Bell violin for my iwi is I changed the CC11 to CC2. So expression controller to the standard MIDI breath controller. And yep. And I'm not doing
tricks.
And that's all that's needed. It kind of works. It kind of works already. There might be some things that I can get a little bit better if I dive in perhaps a little bit deeper, because they actually give you a really good amount of control here. I'm going to share my screen so we can go through that. Screen share. Application window. Okay, I'll just do this one. So yeah, this is my application window with the Joshua Bell violin here.
Okay.
And you can see that I've got this little tab here for controls. They give you a lot of different configurations that you can switch between. So there's a pro controller config, a simple keyboard controller, intuitive shorts, master mod wheel, and basically all those things do slightly different mapping of all of the different options.
Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
Is there a way we can zoom in a little bit, because we can't really see what you're talking about?
Let's see, what can I do here?
Kind of tiny.
Gotcha. Let's see what I can do. I'm gonna try this. Give me one moment.
Sure.
And I'm gonna stop this. Screen share with an application window. Let me try this. How can I do this? Yeah, I don't know if there's a nice way to screen share just the contact window. I can screen share Sonar, but I'm not sure what you're seeing. Actually, are you able to see anything interesting there? No, it doesn't show up.
Yeah.
More thing here.
Okay.
Let's see. Got this. I got this. No, that's not it. Yeah, okay. How about this? I'm going to go like... Yeah, unfortunately, it's a little tiny. Maybe I can... Man, can't I magnify, maybe? Where's the magnifier? Oh my god, this magnifier is pretty crazy.
Hey.
Okay, I'm going to put this magnifier over here, perhaps. And then I'm going to go to my Google Hangouts and do the screen sharing thing again.
Zoom.
Screen 2. Let's share that. And then, does that look a little bit better?
Oh yeah, it's definitely a little bit better.
Okay. So yeah, these guys actually do a lot of stuff when it comes to control on this thing. So you can, let's see, actually, let's go to one of the more normal ones. So right now I've got the Pro controller config. And all I did was change this value, which was originally at the expression controller, changed it to 2, which was my standard MIDI breath controller. You can change key switches, or actually they give you an option of using velocity instead. So if you're within a particular velocity threshold, then you can do, I'm doing a separate bow. Or, okay, velocity or value. Portamento, you can actually do it with a key switch here, or with a particular velocity threshold. So if you do a really slow velocity, up to 28, it will trigger a portamento. There's some interesting controls here that you got. And I guess they give you the ability to pretty quickly change between different configs, because I guess they figure part of getting different sounds out of this instrument is actually going between different configurations. So that's pretty cool. Look at this, like style. If you want to change between the style of the sound, if you want to go with a sordino, a mute, a solpant, soltasto, where your bow is actually going to be hitting the violin. Yeah. There's actually a lot of control here, which I've always liked about Embertone stuff. They actually give you a little ricochet, so actually just lightly bouncing the bow against the strings. That's pretty cool. Crescendo into your long notes, short and long diminuendo out of your notes, contour shaping, again with key switches. And Yeah, it's like, okay, what are you
Wow.
going to control with? CC, after touch, pitch bend. Oh, they give you a pitch bend option. Nice.
Uh-oh.
That's actually really great. I know what I'm going to be doing. And if you mess
Load it
up,
up.
you can just reset everything. And I think I can just go over here, go back to where I was before. Yeah, no harm, no foul. So yeah,
Awesome.
lots of control over on this thing. And then there's that whole control over there. I was on clear,
So
but I guess you got some options for dark and bold and delicate. What's delicate? And they give you a reverb thing. They also have this intuition tab, which was kind of interesting. Uh, Basically, if you want to give the instrument some randomness, um, oh, okay, you're just going to be playing along, and it will actually decide for itself if you're going to be slurring through the notes or actually rebowing the notes. Variants of vibrato versus non-vibrato, the pitch instability. Yeah, so if you just wanted to add some more random slash human elements, that's a thing that it can do. It's kind of cool.
wow. They took a lot of they put a lot of detail and I can tell this has been worked through quite a bit in order to put these features in. I haven't seen something like the intuition before. Normally like Spitfire or as we had said before, Impact Soundworks with the Stroh violin has, some interesting characteristics to their own instrument that they would offer the customers for performance
Yeah,
space. But this one seems like
I
this is like
feel
a nice, well-rounded instrument in itself since it's also solo.
I feel a little bit weird about the intuition thing, just because it's adding randomness to it, and I always wonder if that randomness is going to be a good thing. And oh, you hit the sequence, you play it back, and you're like, wow, that thing sounds awesome. Okay, excuse me. Time to render a file, and then you render the file, and because it's uh,
Intuition,
not fully
it's
deterministic,
yeah,
you get a totally different playback style.
yeah.
And
That's a good
that can
point.
actually be a worry that I used to use this instrument called Sinful Orchestra, which was also in
Mm.
some ways non-deterministic. And a lot of times I loved it. And sometimes I thought, oh, come on, that's not how I wanted the violin to bend up to hit that note. It would be slightly different every time I played it, every time I re-rendered that file with the exact same MIDI notation.
I know that feeling. I've done that before when it comes to for some reason I don't know, it might be a glitch in Cubase when I would do a certain automation and I'm doing an effects type of automation on a sound effect or on a composition, and it just will not turn on or turn off at the right point and then come back at the wrong time, and then when I render it out it's not correct. So
Yeah.
I understand. It's really frustrating. It's kind of frustrating.
Yeah. But sometimes it's also really exciting when it turns out that with a little bit of randomness, a little bit of that random factor, something becomes even a little bit better than you were expecting, or maybe even a lot better than you were expecting.
True, as long as you like it.
As long as you like it, yeah.
And
As long as you get results.
yeah, the playback is good, and if you can't fix it and you're strapped for time, you just deal with it. You
Yeah.
move on. But
Well,
yeah, so you've only been playing this for a little bit, huh?
yeah. I mean, I
You
just man, I mean, I'm really excited about it. It's definitely nice to have a slightly different tone for a real soloistic instrument. I mean, Embertone actually had put out a solo violin before, and that was the Friedlander solo violin, which I like, but I always thought it was, oh, it could be a little bit more romantic, a little bit more emotional. So
mm,
I'll just do some triads, be like, and then that's the Friedlander, and this is the Joshua Bell one. It's got a nice tone to it. It's very much a solo. I think it will be nice actually blending that in to my virtual orchestra because I like making ensemble strings out of lots of different solo strings. So I've got this Joshua Bell, I've got the Friedlander, I've got sample modeling, I've got Sinful, and you blend that in with an ensemble string patch, and I think you can get a really, really nice sound compared to even a really, really great ensemble string patch.
That's actually my next question is how hard or how easy, if you haven't tried it yet, does this blend in with your template of string libraries?
It's actually pretty easy. Like right now, after 5, 10 minutes of work, I think it's actually already to the point where I can blend it into my instrument. Honestly, the biggest issue is just how big it is. I'm looking at Contact, and it's telling me that this thing, 3.2 gigabytes. And I'm amazed that they really want you to have that much in memory. Um,
Wow. It's
that's
almost
just the way
modeling.
it's huge. It's really huge how much that thing puts into memory. I think a lot of it is because they do some tricks that rely on very specific contact sampling and time stretching models that are
Mm-hmm.
actually not compatible with just streaming from disk.
Mm.
So yeah,
So
that's actually one of the big things about those Embertone instruments. They really are not very RAM friendly. They will eat your RAM for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
and and dessert. And so
Hmm.
they are you do you know if they have multiple round robins that are going on, or is it some type of different technology that's going along with it that's using a RAM deficiency in that regard?
I think it's just all the different things. A lot of it is the fact that I am just not using all the very specific articulations that I have control over. I mean, there's lots and lots of articulations that you can do. Um, oh, let me go ahead and share this one as well. I'm going to share the screen again. So yeah, there's a nice look at what this screen looks like. You know, you can choose all of these with key switches or with notes. Sorry, with key switches or with note velocities or with CCs. But you got your mute or solpant or soltasto where the bow is. But you've got all of these options for all of that. And you can unload all of these things, and that should help save some memory. There's this button that lets you just purge it. Okay, get rid of tremolo. I like how that one thing went from 3.22 to 3.21 gigs. Okay, trill, a minor trill. Let's get rid of staccato. Let's get rid of spiccato. Ricochet, staccato. Ooh. Oh man,
Where are we at? We still at 3 point.
yeah, we're still under three, just under three.
Mm. That's a little better than it was though.
Oh my god.
But
I mean,
that means you would
that is
have
a
to do different
lot.
instances for those articulations, possibly.
Yeah, I mean, if
And
you can
then
try to trigger it and then it will load it again.
interesting. Well,
A lot of articulations. But hey,
oh,
I mean, I mean, that's the thing. There's instruments that are made to be performed, and then there's instruments that are made to be laid out and sequenced and crafted. Um, I mean, one of the things that I like for my instruments is that they need to be really effective drafting tools. I'm not sure Joshua Bell is going to be a really great drafting tool for me. I'm not going to be through composing with this instrument. I'll be much more likely to be through composing with Friedlander violin, which only takes half a gig, using it in the mono sample library, and pretty quick to use and pretty quick to get a decent sound out of it. But if I want to have that really pristine solo violin, and I don't feel like calling up Jeff over up in North Hollywood to record something for me, then I'll probably break out Joshua Bell.
Now, my next question is related. Even it's funny you bring up violinist because I was thinking about the violin. Is Joshua Bell using the Stradivarius violin? Because that's what it seems like it's saying. And then what is the
Yep.
violin that they're using for the Freelander? And how is that? That seems like it's a sound difference between. Do you know what violin they're using for the Freelander? Since Joshua Bell is using the Stradivarius.
Yeah, he is using his personal Stradivarius. It is quite an expensive instrument.
Like $3,000, right?
$3,000, maybe. I think it's probably closer to 300 or more than that. Actually, how much is that? Joshua
This is the
Bell.
highest price, $16 million paid for. That was.
I'm gonna look at this. It is a 1713 Stradivari violin, the Huberman Stradivari.
Oh, that's really old.
Oh, yeah. Let me see this. 1713. Is this right?
Yeah. Let's see the value.
Whew.
1 point compensated.
Wait, how much is this?
I'm looking at 1.1 million.
1.1 million. Okay.
I'm looking.
So yeah, off by a few zeros there. Oh yeah, Matt Miller on the live chat was saying you can also purge all the memory and only the notes of your sequence will load on play. Yeah, that's right. You could just hit purge on the top of the instrument in contact, and that's useful. Bam, and then it just really useful so that you're not hitting your hard drive all that. Yep, you can definitely do that. Chase, you have 16 gigs of RAM? Yeah. I used to have 16 gigs, and then I finally actually changed out my sticks, and I have the maximum that my computer can handle, which is a mere 32.
32. I'll be getting there soon, my friend. Yeah. I will be there in a few months. First, I have to sell my top of the market DDR3 Corsair RAM. So if anyone out there needs some, let me know. DM me on the Twitter. And I'll be happy to sell my sticks so I can upgrade to the Vince level.
Ha! I mean, I'm already maxed out. I mean,
I'll be maxed.
You have a couple of these 1+ gig instruments. Oh wow! But you know what software isn't so reliant on hitting your RAM that hard? You don't need to have 16 gigs or 32 gigs of RAM to run it.
My beloved Isotope. My heart's melting right now.
Yeah, Isotope is pretty great. It's actually, no, I mean, serious. You know, Isotope, I've got Isotope actually on my portable sound editing system, which is my Microsoft Surface here.
Get out. You were killing all the game jams. You would kill all the game jams with that.
It's so nice. I mean, this thing is pretty wimpy. It's not even one of those Core i processors. It's got a mere 4 gigs of RAM. It doesn't even have a proper SSD, but it's actually a great lightweight platform for doing a lot of stuff. Okay, I need to record some voice over at this dude's place. Let's do it. And I have enough power here to clean up, especially with some really good software. So Isotope.
What is that?
Thank you. You know, yeah. I've got Isotope RX on here. And it works a treat. You know, I've got SoundForge on here, and I'll just go through my batch conversion, which I'll do, okay, I'm going to do some nice cutting up of all of my voices. I'll do a little bit of subtle Isotope de-click and de-crackle, and that helps clean things up. And I'm okay with just using that on everything. And I feel very confident that's not going to mess up the total quality of my voice sample. So, yeah, it's just really nice to have that sort of power. So thank you, Isotope, for making something that makes this thing that you can get for $200 on eBay now a really, really effective sound editing platform.
Thank you, Isotope. We can't wait to see you at the NAMM show coming soon.
Oh, yeah. It's kind of crazy that. It's so crazy. Oh, hey, Adriano. Welcome to the chat.
Hey, welcome. Yeah, there's a lot of cool cool software and things going out there. Actually, speaking of that, the Wave DNA releases the Liquid Music version 1.63. And I only bring this up because I saw these folks at the NAMM show about 3 years ago, and they were doing some pretty cool stuff with MIDI in terms of, what should I say? Let's see. When I mean doing cool stuff with MIDI, I mean MIDI rhythms or MIDI input. So like, say you're stuck creatively, this thing can generate different patterns for like MIDI notes that you can apply to your string instruments or to your drum tracks and then move them around, or can also do, let's see, what did they add actually in the improvements? Gray overlay and import click for AMXD preceding the analyst.
Oh, wow. This seems pretty cool.
Yeah, it was really cool. It was very heavy with Ableton Live. So when I had to use it for Cubase, they haven't tested it yet because it just came out. And so it crashed my system. But like I said, it's been 3 years from then, and they've made a lot of improvements. So I haven't heard from Wave DNA in a long time. So I know that they've been doing a lot of cool stuff, and they're still relatively new. So check them out. And I think it was pretty affordable as well. Seems the new content they have is MIDI import for VST, importer analysis improvements, key analysis results improved drastically over rebooting algorithm. I don't know what any of that stuff means, so I'm not going to go over too much. But if you're able to use it, then it'll be great. I may give it another shot very soon if Cubase doesn't crash. And what was cool was that the response team for the tech was right on the ball. They emailed me back within like the day, and they were upfront. They said that they didn't test it for Cubase, and that's why that happened. And if I wanted to go about trying other ways, and I was like, I didn't have time. But yeah, check that out. If like I said, if you're in a bind creatively, I think this was the cool way to get out of it. Or if you need to get through some library music, I think this will also help.
Yeah, this definitely seems pretty cool. And they do have a 30-day trial, so you can try it out.
Yeah, try before you buy. I'm all about that life.
Yeah. One piece of software that I actually already have is Reaper. And I'm always impressed with just how many new features they keep on adding. And one of the latest features just came this week with Reaper version 5.5, spectral editing. So now you are visualizing your audio data on a channel on a spectrogram, and you can edit on the spectrogram, just like you can on, Isotope and all that stuff. And Reaper's got it built in now. So that's kind of crazy. They're really kicking it right now. They're just doing so many new features, and this isn't even like a major release. This is just one of their incremental ones. Hey, we're at 5.50 now, and hey, suddenly you got spectral editing on this thing that you might have only spent $60 on, buying this thing as a student 3 years ago.
So affordable, and yet powerful at the same time, and very effective.
Yeah, Reaper is cool, and even though it's not my primary DAW, I actually don't use Reaper for music, and it's not for any reason other than I have a specific music workflow, and I like to stick with that music workflow until I get to a particular point in a project where, okay, now it's time to change things up.
Yeah.
But Reaper is just a fantastic place to do a lot of stuff, and I find that I'm actually a much faster sound designer working in Reaper than I am in Cakewalk. Cakewalk's great for music, but Reaper for sound design and sound editing, man, I am pretty fast in that space.
Cool.
Yep.
I know some people that do use Reaper for sound design. I know some people that use it for podcast recording. I know some people that use it for composition, and some people trying to find different workarounds from their DAW that they were using before to get some things done. But yeah, I've never actually tried it. I don't know. I think it's just I've already used 2 DAWs in my career so far. 3 if you include Pro Tools. I don't sometimes. I keep forgetting about them, but They
Pro
say once
Tools,
you
what's
learn one
that?
DAW,
Is
you learn all DAWs.
that like one of those new indie
Hmm?
shareware things, Pro Tools?
I don't
I mean, who
remember.
uses Pro Tools? I don't know anyone that uses Pro Tools.
Me neither. Maybe some people in the chat use Pro Tools. I don't
Uh,
really know. But yeah, I just haven't made the jump because I'm still actually learning Cubase and all the features that it has. And I don't even have like this. Steinberg has 2 flagship or 3 type of software. They have Nuendo, Cubase, and Dorico. And
oh yeah.
I only know like the mid tier of that DAW. And before then, I was a Fruity Loops user for 10 years. So I'm just like, dude, another one. Like I'm still was supposed to check out the what was that other one that came out? I think it was Tractor.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Tractor. Yeah.
I don't know what is that similar to Bitwig and yeah.
No, yeah, yeah. Bitwig and the whole live Ableton style sort of
Hmm.
DAW. Yeah, it's a different world. But that's the thing. Whatever you use to make audio, it's so funny. In the end of the day, can you spit out WAV files or not? You know?
Yeah, if you want
I
to
mean,
spit
that's
out
kind of the
MP3,
thing.
you
I
have
mean,
to
I
pay
kind
for
of
those.
joke about the whole Pro Tools thing, but it's one of those things where you're either in a world where it is important for you to know Pro Tools, and there's definitely a whole lot in the audio world where yes, you need to know Pro Tools,
Mhm.
but working as a game guy, whether you're like me and you are ingrained in a game development studio where your DAW is just one of your tools in a myriad of tools that you use for game development, or you're a freelancer that's working on the periphery with lots of different people, it's actually a whole lot easier not to be a Pro Tools guy. Um,
Yeah,
yeah.
especially if you want to do MIDI.
I didn't say it. I didn't say it.
Oh
There,
yeah,
there are some people that actually still use Pro Tools for MIDI.
yeah.
They're really stubborn.
Praise be to God to them, and
Yeah.
they must have the patience of a snail.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Matt Miller says yes. You can run Reaper independently while your other DAW is open. That's exactly what I got right now. I have both Reaper and Cakewalk Sonar open right now. Um,
That's
Fmod
sharing.
at night. Yes. Yep. You can't forget our fun middleware tools. Fmod is that thing that I keep on using all the time. Ah, man. But honestly, after like a day of all these tools, I like to just relax a bit and play a game. Are you playing any games right now, Chase?
Whew, yeah. Well, yes, I am.
Well, what's cool? Anything new? Anything different from last week?
No, I won't say what I because I haven't been anything new. You know, I'm in Ventura County, and I want to actually plug the store that is actually a really cool shop that I almost would buy from again. Even though I did kind of go mini thrift shopping yesterday, I bought Return to Castle Wolfenstein, thinking it
Oh,
was going to be a CD. Like I didn't want to play the game because obviously if you use the key, you can't use it again. But I thought I would actually get the soundtrack by buying that because it was on a CD-ROM, right? Well, that didn't work
oh,
out.
oh,
But
darn.
there's this place called Pastime Legends in Ventura County, and if you're out there, there's a lot of cool games there. The people are really nice, and I hope that I can get a few things from there and play some new games. But the reason I am still playing Breath of the Wild is because I'm actually studying the sound design through intervallic notation.
Hmm.
And so I'm
Okay.
playing, and I'm almost done with the game. But I'm really paying attention to how the sound, like where they end the music cues that happen that are loopable. Like the most looping song in Breath of the Wild is when you're in the higher altitude snowy areas, and that is the most that I can say that is not pleasant to me because I can tell
Hmm.
where it loops, even though it's very sparse. But
Right.
I like the transition of where it happens if I need to teleport to a different place or if I exit a different area, it's very seamless. And so I'm kind of audibly studying the integration of the audio and the sound effects as well. Just naturally, just making some specific notes. And I think it's really good practice and research. And I'm having such a good time playing it that it's not like a chore, right? I don't have to think too hard or whatnot. And it'd be great. I mean, if Nintendo wanted to do a class on how are they achieving this greatness that they've been doing for over 30 years. But so nonetheless, I found out some techniques and tips, and that's what I'm sharing with that now, is that I'm actually discerning what's really going on the best way I can and writing it in my sound design journal that I keep.
Oh, that's cool.
What are you playing?
Oh man, honestly, I'm getting my ass kicked in Overwatch.
Yeah. Good. Keep getting it, because you're gonna get better.
Well, I mean, I'm honestly trying. I'm trying a bit in Overwatch, and I also finally started a little bit of Destiny 2. And Destiny 2 is really quite a beautiful game. That is a AAA game. Yeah, well, it's. I mean, that's
it is.
No, it's. I mean, compared to the original Destiny, I think a lot of people were turned off by how Destiny just didn't feel like a current generation title compared to a lot of other games that were coming out around the same time. I think part of it was those strappings of being not just a PS4 title, but a PS3 title as well. And so,
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it was
they
just
were
shackled
bridging
a
the
bit.
gap there.
Yeah. But now
Xbox
it's like,
360.
wow, this game looks and sounds fantastic. There's so much nice environmental storytelling that's happening. The single player, actually, the bit that I've only played a few hours, honestly. But the bit that I've played of the single player campaign has a richness in the visuals and the sound that actually reminds me of how I felt playing Halo for the first time. It was like, wow, this is immersive. This looks and sounds really great. So I'm really looking forward to keeping on going with the Destiny single player campaign before I try to join my friends on some raids pretty soon. And if I'm not doing that, yeah, getting my ass kicked in Overwatch.
You're more brave than me. I'm not playing that game. I have tons of friends. I work with some game developer friends, and they're like, "Well, you're gonna be getting it. We're gonna do a GoFundMe campaign for Chase to get Overwatch." I'm like, "Don't even bother." So I'm not probably even gonna open it.
Yeah, it's so tough with all the games that are out there, and
yeah, I'm looking forward to October when Shadow of War comes out. I don't care how much crap they talk about that game. I'm gonna give it a chance. That's the only game I platinum was Shadow of Mordor. And that game is going to be fun. I just know it is. It's going to be good.
Well, that'll be cool. I'm not sure what else I'm looking forward to this. Oh, I know what I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to Joy Sound Karaoke on my Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, you got some good games on that Switch. I actually thought about maybe just putting that on my Christmas list this year. Hopefully. I was going to be a PSVR or a Switch, but now I can't decide.
Yeah, the Switch is nice. It's such a cool, fun piece of hardware, honestly. It's fun.
And you can take it anywhere.
Oh yeah, Mario Odyssey. It's coming.
I played that E3.
It's hard not to smile while looking at that game.
Yeah, but you're not smiling playing it. Trust me.
Well,
that was the first. At least for me, I played it. I got to play it day one, doors opening on E3, and it was okay. It just wasn't. I wasn't getting the magic that everybody else was feeling. So,
well, there was a lot of stuff that changed though between E3 and now. Someone put out a page that basically described, "Oh man, look at all these changes that have happened."
Yeah, they've been a while.
Both visual as well as some of the changes to the mechanics that they just described in text. It looks like there's some cool stuff there, so I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely, it sounds like it's going to be a blast.
Yeah. Yeah, so wow, it's already 7:05, which means our game audio hour is officially a little bit over an hour. So thanks for sticking with us. Thanks to the chatties chatting about all sorts of fun stuff. Hey, Sean, you're rocking Overwatch? That's cool. Yeah, it's going to be hard to choose between Overwatch and Destiny 2. Adriano's talking about, yeah, he has to be super fast with Pro Tools because he does a lot of studio recording. Yep, it's true. Pro Tools is there in the studios, and if you're going to be working in there, you gotta do it. I don't have to worry about it. I'm going to be sitting in my office and living here for a few more hours tonight, which means, I got to cut off the show pretty soon. But Hey, Chase, thanks for
Yep.
joining me for the show.
Absolutely happy to be here with you, Vince. Thank you for the mini performance and your presence.
Yeah, I wish I could have performed a little bit better, but hey, I'm going to be honest about what it is that I can do with this software that I got. Thanks to the chatties, thanks to the viewers for checking out episode 151 of the Game Audio Hour. If you want, you can like us on Facebook, follow us, and tweet at us on Twitter. Um, Check us out because we're going to come at you in subsequent weeks. Yeah, 152 is going to be happening very soon. So, same time, same channel, all that jazz. See you guys.
Yes. Bye.